Easy now, folks. We're going to do the first of the air pump comparison videos that I promised. So we've got the Eheim, the Black Shark, the Sarah and the Hailea. So they all are slightly different. These are just the pumps that I've got and have used. They're not identical. The Hailea is a 4-pin air pump. The Sarah is also 4 outlets. Then we've got the Black Shark, which is a 2-pin, and they all are controlled by a single dial. And then we've got the Eheim, which is a 2-pin, but you can control each outlet individually. Each of these dials controls its respective airline. I also have had the APS 12 in the past. So I've done another video on that, comparing it to the Hailea, so I can't do that just now. I've moved that on. And I was going to do a high setting and low setting, but the video will go on for ages. So for the purposes of this, I'm just going to set each pump to its medium setting. We're going to use an airline and a splitter to combine them into a single channel, which is then going to go to one of these Eheim diffusers, and I'm going to stick that into a pillow at the other side of the room. That means that we shouldn't get any noise from the air escaping through there, and I'm not going to use a non-return valve on any of these. In order to test how loud or quiet each machine is, we've got this decibel meter here. So what I can do is there's a minimum and max setting. If I change it to the max setting and then click my fingers here, you can see it registers the loudest sound that it hears, and then if I hit hold, I can keep the reading where it was. After that, we'll compare each and see which comes out best. Okay, we're going to start off with the Eheim first. Like I said, we're going to run each channel into the same line, and I'm going to use the same tubing for each machine, so we're going to keep as much as possible the same. Oh look, couple of rubber feet have fed out there. That's worth noting, right enough. And I moved the wire, the power cable, off of the other air pumps there, just to make sure there's no rattling coming from any vibration there. Basically, I'm trying to keep everything as equal and fair as I possibly can. Right, that's me switched it on there then. We'll just make sure the tubing's all connected how we want it, which is fine. And then we're going to jam this diffuser in the pillow. Like I said, reduce any chance of getting noise from that. Right then, let's grab our dB meter and see what kind of volumes we're going to get here then. So, you've got to press this button twice to get the max setting, and we'll have a wee listen. Gave it a few seconds there just to make sure it was a fair reading, and it's 58.9 decibels. Alright then, that's pump number 1. So what we'll do now is take all the tubes off and set them up on the Black Shark. Okay, so like I said, same airlines, going to the same place in the same room, and there's pretty much no noise levels in the house. Everybody's being dead quiet for me, so thanks for that. Find our medium setting here. Now it's a case of finding which plug is the right one. This has been the most difficult challenge with this. The Sarah actually is the easiest because it comes with an EU plug, so it's easy to identify, but the others are all the same. Anyway, we've got it on. Once again, we'll set it to the max setting and give it a listen. Right, 54.3 at the point that I pressed hold, sorry. Alright, we've broke out the trusty whiteboard to log our results. So the all-pond solutions was 670 litres per minute. The Eheim is 2 times 200, so that comes out at 400 litres per minute. The Black Shark now, that is 300 litres per minute. The Sarah is 550, and the Hailea 600. So that is only slightly important. Obviously, the more tanks you got, the more lines you need to run, the more air you need. So it doesn't necessarily matter. If you've only got a wee, we've got a wee visitor here. This is Luna. Hi, Luna. Obviously interested in in our results. Yeah, so if you've only got a couple of wee tanks, then you don't need as much air, you know. So I'm only putting that really for interest. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask Luna if she would like to sit somewhere else for a wee bit. Come here, pal. Hey, pal, come on. Right, let me sort this out. Hold on. Okay, I knew this didn't look right. I had to go back and check this. The Black Shark is not 300 litres per minute. Sorry, that was an error. It is actually 480. So they're all in the same kind of ballpark, really. Well, around abouts anyway. And the other thing I think I better fix is I've given the other ones their manufacturer's name, haven't I? So the Black Shark, in fact, I don't even know if that's the right name for it, man. That's why I call it. It is actually made by High Top, and that's a Black Shark. The other thing that may have a bearing, that may skew results, I suppose, is how long I had each of these pumps running. So the All Pond Solutions, I didn't run at all. As soon as I knew the Hailea was better, I put it back in its box and gave it on to somebody. The Eheim is brand new. I only just got it. And Black Shark, I think I used that for about 3 months. That was the one that I was currently using, in fact, and I really do like that air pump. The Sarah I used for 1 month. Mrs. DKF thought it was louder than the previous pump. And the Hailea I used for, well, at least 2 years, more closer to 3, I think, and never done maintenance on it once. Never took it apart and cleaned it or anything. But anyway, let's put in our All Pond Solutions, which we found was, well, I never tested it. It was audibly louder than the Hailea, though. And we'll get the rest plotted in. So our Eheim, we said, was 58.9. And Shark was 54.3. Right, let's test the others. So for the 4-pin models, obviously I'm going to need to do 2 sets of lines for this. So this is the original that I used on the previous 2. And then I cut 4 equal pieces to go to the splitters to try and keep everything, like I say, as equal as I possibly could. The air tube from the second set is the same length as the first one, and again goes to another Eheim diffuser, which is stuffed into a pillow at the other end of the room. Need to find the medium setting on the dial again, and then try and find the right plug. I'll cut that out, you don't need to watch that. There we are. Right, min, max. Right, a good few seconds on that. 68.9 on that one. I don't know if you're picking that up in the background on the video, but it is significantly louder than the others have been. And I can kind of see why Mrs. DKF wasn't too happy about it. Wasn't so much an issue during the day, but you certainly could hear it throughout the house in the night time, or at least in our bedroom, so fair enough. Let's rig up the Hailea and see what that comes out like. This wee sound meter was a Christmas present from Mrs. DKF, by the way, so thanks for that. I'm enjoying doing this. Here we go. Right, 54.7. Let's plot this on our chart and we'll see what we think about. Well, I think we know what the answer is going to be, don't we? Right then, our Sarah air pump was 68.9 and our Hailea was 54.7. So I've tried to be as scientific as I can be in this experiment. Obviously there could be some improvements made, but the high top, the Black Shark, came out the quietest, and that is a 2-pin model. And of the 4-pin models, the Hailea was not far behind it. Like I said, the Hailea has been run by far the longest, between 2 and 3 years. But the high top came out first, the Hailea second, Eheim was third, Sarah was fourth, and we're going to call it APS non-contender. That's purely because I didn't actually measure it with the sound meter, but it was louder than Hailea, which you can see in the comparison video I made ages ago on that. Of the 4-pin models that I own, I've played with, the All-Pon Solution, the Sarah and the Hailea by far won out. In fact, the Hailea seemed to come out on top of all the air pumps if you're needing that amount of airflow. Just to give you a sense of what I've been doing with these air pumps. So all of them, I've used each of them to run a sponge filter or an air stone or diffuser on the big main tank, and underneath 3 smaller either shrimp or fry grout tanks with a box filter on each. So they're all capable of doing all of that. Other than that, I hope this was interesting. I found it interesting. I enjoyed doing it myself. Gives you a wee bit of an idea about how loud or quiet some of these pumps if you're considering buying any of them. If it does help you out at all, I'll be dead glad of that. That's what it's all about. I will be doing a similar video on these smaller air pumps, these pendant kind of air pumps, and after that we'll look at some fish, because that's what we're all here for, isn't it? Otherwise, from me and Luna, we're out. Later.